Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 2011 USCSA National Championships here from beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho. Boss Hogg alongside Nick Holden today as we bring you live coverage of the ladies alpine slalom race. Two big runs of competition here from the Warm Springs base area and the Greyhawk Trail. And this afternoon after round two, we will crown a 2011 USCSA Ladies National Champion here in the slalom event. Next to me, my friend and yours, it's Mr. Nicky Holden. Good morning, Nicky, and welcome back to the USCSA broadcast booth here in the Warm Springs base area.
Good to be back on Alpine, boss. I had the opportunity to check out some of the other great USCSA events the past couple days. I was able to announce at the 8.5 kilometer classic event over at the Nordic Center, and that was an incredible event. There was 600 feet of vertical climb, so a very strenuous event. Mark Sullivan said it was the most athletically challenging event in the history of the USCSA. I also got to check out border cross and skier cross yesterday over at the base of Dollar Mountain, and there's a lot of great athletes over there, and hopefully we'll see a lot more out of them in slopestyle today.
I'd like to welcome all of our viewers and listeners at www.uscsa.com as we are bringing you not only live audio coverage of today's women's slalom race, but also video coverage. So we're glad you've tuned in to our web presentation. We'd like to also welcome all of the folks that are now gathering around the finish corral here at this beautiful Greyhawk Trail. Nicky, yesterday this was the home of the men's giant slalom, which started all the way at the top, almost 1,300 vertical feet down probably one of the more difficult pitches that many of these skiers have ever had an opportunity to race on. This morning, there is no difference, although they have brought the start shack down a good halfway down this Greyhawk Trail. Still a very challenging and technically difficult run for the ladies today. Should be exciting ski racing action, and we're glad you're with us here this morning, live from Sun Valley, Idaho. Today's USCSA broadcast is brought to you by Patagonia. Their mission, build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, and use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. Check them out at www.patagonia.com. And by Reliable Racing. Whether it's winter sports, hill and event supply, sports timing, or field and recreation, Reliable Racing is your one-stop solution. Reliable Racing, proud supporter of the USCSA. Today's broadcast also brought to you by Hurricane Racing, the official uniform supplier of the USCSA and your number one source for custom team ski wear. Visit them today at www.hurricaneracing.com. And by Twitchell Sportswear. Whether it's t-shirts for the family reunion, merchandise for a major event, or polos for a corporate gathering, Twitchell Sportswear has you covered from design to delivery. Since 1992, it's Twitchell Sportswear, the leader in custom embroidery, screen printing, and graphic design. Boss Hogg alongside Chris. Now, that was yesterday's call, wasn't it, Nick?
That was yesterday, and, I'm happy to be compared to him. He's a very good-looking gentleman and certainly a great broadcasting partner.
Well, I got to tell you that both of you guys, of course, Chris Aliano and Nicky Holden, part of the Boston University broadcast journalism program. They have spent the last 3 or 4 years now broadcasting different events at BU, including hockey and all kinds of good stuff. And we're glad to have both of you guys here inside the broadcast booth this morning. We're about 10 minutes away from the start of this women's first run of slalom. And we hope you'll be with us all day as we'll bring you live coverage here of the first run. We'll take about an hour and a half break, and then we'll be back for the second run where they will reverse the top 30 times from the first run, and we will crown a 2011 national champion. 4 runners getting ready to come down now. That's usually the sign that we are about ready to start here. As we get our timing system all put together, we are located here at the base of the Greyhawk Trail in the Warm Springs area here at Sun Valley. And Nicky, what an amazing facility this Sun Valley Resort is. One of the most expansive ski resorts I've ever had an opportunity to be around. And great conditions here today, as it looks like the temperature's right around 30 degrees. We're seeing the sun for the first time in a couple of days. Should be a tremendous track here for these lady slalom competitors.
Definitely, boss. I heard it's supposed to warm up a little bit this afternoon. We'll see if those snow conditions soften up a little bit as the sunlight comes out on the trail, but definitely great conditions out here on this slalom course that, as you mentioned, moved a little bit down from the start of the GS, so we don't have that incredibly steep pitch at the beginning, but certainly a lot pitchier than some of the stuff that these skiers from the East Coast have seen, and we'll see if that plays a role in today's race.
The start shack located about halfway up this Greyhawk Trail to the skiers' left, and then they make a slow but straight line across to the right-hand side. And of course, here on our video coverage, you'll be able to see about the bottom 15 or 20 gates as they come across the hill. And our first forerunner now coming down, as you can see, into the video monitor. So we hope you enjoy our video coverage today. And we're glad to bring you live coverage here of this 2011 Ladies Slalom First Run. Our first 5 competitors will see Kelly Fitzpatrick from the College of Idaho. From James Madison University, it's Kaylin Ford. Clarkson University's Megan Cleason will be in the 3rd slot. From Syracuse, Nicole Saltzman in 4th. And rounding out the first 5 competitors here for the ladies slalom race, it's Kai Mosenthal from Brown University.
Of course, boss, my skier to watch for today is going to be our 9th runner today, Martina Ryberg. She's the sophomore out of Plymouth State. She did win the giant slalom competition back on Tuesday, and that Plymouth State team is a young one, but a very formidable one, taking home the team championship in giant slalom. Coach Andrew Gannon over there really running a great program.
Nikki Holden, you've had an opportunity to call some of the McConnell Division races back east in New England this year, and you've had a chance to see some of these ski racers. Talk about the preparation that goes throughout the entire ski season that finally culminates here with an appearance at the National Championships.
Absolutely, boss. It's all about training all season long. These athletes, whether it's off the hill in the weight room or just running slalom gates all day long, it's all about the training that got them here. And when you see these great McConnell Division schools like Plymouth State and like Colby Sawyer, these are teams that have worked hard all season long. I know my Boston University team over in the Thompson Division is a bunch of slackers, and that's why we're not seeing them here today at the National Championship. But these teams certainly have a ton of dedication, and I'm excited to see some great ski racing today, boss.
So nice to have you back next to me, Nikki Holden, the king of all of the good comments. You'll hear many of them today. Welcome, folks. We're glad you're with us as our forerunners are completing their runs. Of course, the forerunners giving the course inspectors and the competitors up at the start shack an opportunity to get some information about this course. But an incredibly technical set, as these gates have been placed tightly together and on a run that is as steep and generates as much speed for these racers as this Greyhawk Trail is. This should be some exciting first round competition.
Should be, boss. First up, we'll see Kelly Fitzpatrick. She's from Sun Valley, Idaho. She goes to the College of Idaho, and she's a junior in psychology there. She's quite an outdoors woman. She likes skiing, swimming, biking, crocheting, crafts, fly fishing. She's actually the craft club president over at the College of Idaho. A very well-rounded young woman there in Kelly Fitzpatrick, and I'm sure that she's going to blow us away with her athletic ability in this first run.
Well, one thing's for sure, Nikki, athletic ability is something that is totally required here on this Greyhawk Trail. Yesterday, we saw some fantastic ski racing, but it was only the most physically prepared that were able to come into the top 5 or 10 slots as a result of a truly demanding race course here on the Greyhawk Trail. So we're just minutes away, ladies and gentlemen, from Kelly Fitzpatrick from the College of Idaho. She'll be our first racer down as we see our forerunners now completing their initial runs, and we are ready for the College of the Atlantic's Kelly Fitzpatrick. Live broadcast coverage here from the USCSA Radio Network continues as we'll bring you live coverage of the second run here later on this afternoon. Our coverage beginning at 12:45 p.m. local time. That's 2:45 p.m. back in the East. Then tomorrow, we're right back here again, and we'll bring you live coverage of both of the men's slalom runs here from the Greyhawk Trail. Some added bonus coverage tomorrow as the snowboarders come here over to the Warm Springs base area, and they'll be racing too. So tune in tomorrow, a full broadcast day here at the USCSA Radio Network, all beginning at 9:15 a.m. tomorrow morning. Nikki, you have a schedule here, and what else is going on across this great Sun Valley resort? It looks like we've got some free skiing and some snowboarding competition also taking place here this Friday, March 11th. The slope style is taking place over at Dollar Mountain. The men's Nordic 15K freestyle in cross-country skiing also taking place this morning. We'll have the women's alpine, both runs here from the Warm Springs base area. So a big day for USCSA National Championship action all over Sun Valley, Idaho. And I don't think we can say enough as to how great it has been here. Our hosts here at Sun Valley have been absolutely tremendous and prepared a fantastic racing venue in all of the disciplines here this week.
Boss, it's a combination of beautiful facilities and an excellent staff. For every little technical problem we've run into, which haven't been many, Sun Valley staff has always been right there, ready to lend a helping hand. And it's just been a great week so far, and I'm sure we've got some more ski racing action to come in today and tomorrow's events.
If you're new to competitive ski racing, you'll know that we run two runs here. They'll time both of them, and it is the total combined time of the two runs that determine our finish order and, most importantly, our national champion. We'll take the top 30 places in the first run. We'll reverse their order, meaning number 30 will start first in the second run. And it looks like we are close to being underway here from the College of Idaho. Kelly Fitzpatrick, our first racer down, as it appears that we have our fourth and final forerunner making her way down the Greyhawk Trail. "182 meters of vertical drop from the start shack to the finish line here on the Greyhawk. Our TD for today's race is D. Chase, our referee, M. Dewsbay, and the chief of race, M. Rodriguez. Looks like we're getting ready to start now. And on course is Kelly Fitzpatrick from the College of Idaho. Great thing, Nikki, about being the first one down is you're automatically atop the leaderboard. Here comes Kelly Fitzpatrick from the College of Idaho. She's making her way past the halfway mark. Into the lower third. And, you know, Nikki, it's very important, as much as speed and time here on the first run, is to complete the first run. Because without completing the first run, there is no second run.
Sure is, boss, but it's the national championship, so if you're making slip-ups in the first run, it's going to be tough to make up that time against these tremendous athletes that are so consistent across two runs.
And across the finish line now, it is Kelly Fitzpatrick from the College of Idaho. That'll move her into first place with a time of 59.83 in her first run. Next up, it's James Madison University's Kelly Lynn Ford. Kelly Lynn Ford wearing bib number 2 as she makes her way into the middle section of this 3-section course we'll call the slalom run. And it looks like we've had a change here in the bib order. So instead of it being Kaylin Ford from James Madison University, on course now, wearing bib number 3 from Clarkson College, it is Megan Cleason. So Kelly Fitzpatrick from the College of Idaho now successfully completing her first run. Megan Cleason from Clarkson now makes her way across the finish line and crossing the stripe. It's Megan Cleason from Clarkson University. Our next racer wearing bib number 4 will be Nicole Salzman from Syracuse University. And we're having some changes here in the timing system. We'll get it all ironed out for you and give you some good information just momentarily. We do know Kelly Fitzpatrick is across the line. And now it looks like they've changed the name for Nicole Salzman into bib number 4. So let us get the order here ironed out, and then we'll get back with you with some correct information.
Boss, it looks like we might have been just one bib off in the timing system there. I'm not sure if Kelly Fitzpatrick actually finished the course, but we'll figure that out in just a second. Hang tight, folks.
Collegiate ski racing at its best. It takes a village and everybody working hard to make sure this first run goes off smoothly. So we'll let our timers up at the top and at the bottom here at the finish line. Get everything situated, and we'll give you that information as soon as it's made available to us. Boss Hogg alongside Nikki Holden here, live from the Warm Springs base area in beautiful Sun Valley, Idaho. It is day number 4 of competition here in this 2011 USCSA National Championships. Glad you're joining us. A big crowd now gathered around the finish corral here on the bottom of the Greyhawk Run. And again, welcome to all of our listeners around the world on the World Wide Web at www.uscsa.com. Got a course hold here as we get the timing system situated. As we were saying before we got started, the top 30 finishers here in the first run, their order will be reversed in the second run. So the first skier down in run number 2 this afternoon will be the 30th fastest qualifier in the first run. The second competitor will be the 29th, and so on until we get all the way to the fastest competitor, who will race 30th in the second run. So exciting action here this afternoon, and we'll bring you that coverage starting at 12:45 p.m. local time, 2:45 p.m. back in the east. The sun's starting to pop out here in Sun Valley, Idaho. That's why they call it that, although we have had some cloudy skies over the last couple of days. It is great to see the sun out here as this venue just lights up as the sunshine hits the trail. Nikki, what does that do to the trail conditions? Sun and clouds and more sun and more clouds can certainly make the track variable as we get through these 103 female racers.
Absolutely. If there's one thing ski racers love, it's a nice hard packed surface. Ice even maybe, especially for those East Coast skiers. But when this sun comes out, it can soften up the snow, and that can lead to slower conditions and a lot of rutting. Of course, rutting not good because it's going to be sending you down almost like a luge track there, boss. It can get you out of control quite quickly, but this course is looking quite solid conditions-wise so far. Up at the top, we've got a fairly straightforward section leading into a very challenging undergate. Then we've got some very turny gates in the midsection, and down here at the bottom, boss, it looks like someone just sneezed a bunch of gates all over the course as these combinations are just popping up left and right. I wouldn't certainly be able to follow that, but that's why I leave the skiing to these nationals qualifiers here at Sun Valley.
Typically, they will set the undergates pretty regularly through a slalom course, but in this national championship run, all of the undergates seem to be placed in the last 15 gates here at the bottom of the run. So not only will these ladies have to be physically fit as they make their way to the bottom, of course, the legs begin to become nuclear. They get awfully tired with 10 gates to go. But to add insult to injury, they've thrown about 4 or 5 undergates here in the last 10 or 12 gates.
Yeah, boss, it actually looks like the undergate that we've got is up top, but we do have looks like a flush and a hairpin right close to each other, very close to the bottom. And there is actually an undergate that separates them, so very challenging combinations there. Certainly got to stay on your toes, especially after a grueling slalom course. It can be difficult to stay quick on your feet. A very challenging course here at Sun Valley.
Looks like we're back to live action now as Kai Mosenthal from Brown University. She's on course now, coming into the lower third of this slalom track. Here is Kai Mosenthal from Brown. She was first after the intermediate split gate up top. Will she be able to hold on? And across the stripe comes Kai Mosenthal from Brown University. And that's going to be good enough for first place. A blistering fast time for Kai Mosenthal from Brown, coming across the stripe in 46.72. To go back, Nicole Saltzman from Syracuse University. She crossed the stripe in 52.48. That's good enough for second. And Kelly Fitzpatrick from the College of Idaho, now in the third slot with a time of 58.19. So it's Mosenthal, Salzman, and Fitzpatrick, your first three racers and your top three racers here in the first run of the ladies slalom. Now on course, Boston College's Kelly Burgard. She makes her way past the halfway mark. Into the lower third comes Burgard. Lexi Dreschel from Whitman College. She awaits her first run from the start shack. She's next. Meanwhile, Kelly Burgard from Boston College. 6 gates to go for Burgard. She's skiing well, trying to keep the body pointing downhill and still while the legs do all the action, and across the stripe comes Kelly Burgard from Boston College. Good enough for second place with a time of 50.54. Now on course, wearing bib number 7 from Whitman College, it's Lexi Dreschel. Now Dressel, fourth after the first intermediate gate. She'll have to make up some time to get a hold of this top slot, although she has a little bit of a problem there about halfway through this course. Now she's back into the full speed in motion. Nikki, it's tough when you scrape that much speed. It's really hard to get back together and get the speed that you had back. You lose a lot of momentum. Not to mention what it does to your mental attitude as a result of doing so well and then coming to a stop. Here across the stripe, it's Lexi Dreschel from Whitman College, and she'll finish with a time of 55.50.
Absolutely, boss. Very difficult to pick yourself back up after scrubbing some speed. I've noticed, especially if you take a little spill and hike back in the course, folks are about 150% more likely to fall again because they are just so frustrated and so tired. But it looks like no wipeouts yet today. We'll probably see some later as we get further down the pack and these athletes keep coming down the hill.
A clean run now for Brittany Barber from Northern Michigan University. Here comes Brittany Barber into the final flush of 5 gates. Brittany Barber making her way, and across the stripe comes Barber in a time of 53.16. That's good enough for 4th position. Now on course, wearing bib number 9 from Plymouth State University, it's Martina Ryberg. Here comes Ryberg. Martina Ryberg, the national champion, crowned 2 days ago in the women's giant slalom race, and she is down on the course. Just past the halfway mark is Martina Ryberg. She caught an edge. It shot her right out of the race course. Now they're going to go reset the gate, and she's going to hike and try to make the gate so she can continue her first run. Remember, without a successful completion of the first run, there is no second run. So the women's giant slalom champion, Martina Ryberg from Plymouth State University, having some difficulty here on this first run. It looks like she has hiked back and made the gate, and now she's back on her run. You'll see her coming into the video screen momentarily. Here is Martina Ryberg. A lot of time lost up there. It could be the end of her national championship hopes here for the slalom.
Yeah, very unfortunate, boss. She did take a little bit of a spill out there, and she will not be our national champion in slalom today, but she does have the 2010 national championship in slalom under her belt, so she's already got quite a few trophies in her case.
Now Martina Ryberg across the line, her time 1:17.81. Emma Beatty from the University of British Columbia. She is coming up next. And here comes Emma Beatty.
Emma Beatty, the sophomore out of the University of British Columbia, originally from Vancouver. Her home mountain's Whistler. That's quite a nice facility as well, boss.
So here comes Emma Beatty from the University of British Columbia. Now Beatty across the stripe in a time of 48.46. A great run for Emma Beatty. That's good enough for second position. So your top 5 look like this. In the 5th slot, it is Brittany Barber from Northern Michigan University. Syracuse's Nicole Salzman in the 4th slot. From Boston College, Kelly Burgard in the 3rd position. Second belongs to Emma Beatty from the University of British Columbia, but still leading the first run here in the 2011 Women's USCSA Slalom. It is Kai Mosenthal from Brown University. Now on course, wearing bib 11 from Stanford, it's Wendy Kalkis. She'll be followed by Issa Floden from Rocky Mountain College, who awaits her first run in the start shack. Now into the bottom third comes Stanford's Wendy Kalkis. It's Kalkis, 6 gates to go for Kalkis. Had to scrub some speed there, but now she's trying to get back on it. Here is Wendy Kalkis from Stanford, and across the stripe is Wendy Kalkis, a time of 101.29. Now Rocky Mountain College's Issa Floden, wearing bib number 12. She's on course, making her way through the top third of this Greyhawk Trail, now into the center technical section. She's skiing well. Here comes Issa Floden from Rocky Mountain College.
Issa Floden, the junior out of Rocky Mountain College, is originally from Sweden. Got her training at a little hill called Vemdalen.
Now 5 gates to go for Issa Floden. Here comes Floden. Pushing hard and across the stripe is Issa Floden with a time of 49.28, good enough for third position for Floden from Rocky Mountain College. Now Danielle Shannon from Colby Sawyer College on course, making her way through the top third, really letting it stretch out. Of course, the key to this race, to keep the body pointing downhill, keeping it still, letting all of the legs do the action. And Danielle Shannon with a good run here from Colby Sawyer College. Kai Mosenthal still in the lead from Brown with a time of 46.72, blistering fast. We'll see if anyone can get close to it. Danielle Shannon wants to from Colby Sawyer. Here into the last 6 sticks is Danielle Shannon. And across the stripe comes Shannon from Colby Sawyer College in a time of 49.36. That puts her in the 4th position. Now dropping in from the top from St. Olaf, it's Katie Olvstead. She'll be followed by Penn State University's Alexandra Klebe. Your top 5, still Kelly Burgard in 5th, Danielle Shannon in 4th, Issa Floden in 3rd, Emma Beatty in the 2nd position. And leading the first run from Brown University is Kai Mosenthal. Now past the halfway mark into the lower third is Katie Olvstead from St. Olaf College.
Boss, it's Olsted's first appearance at this USCSA National Championship. She's a freshman at St. Olaf College, originally from Hemp, Washington. She says that her main inspiration is her teammate, Max Lund, a great St. Olaf skier himself.
And across the stripe comes Katie Olvstead from St. Olaf. That'll be good enough for 6th position with a time of 50.62. Now dropping out of the start shack into the top third, it is Alexandra Klebe from Penn State University. She is skiing very well. Now she makes her way into the middle section, becomes very technical. And she's scraping some speed so she can successfully navigate these middle section gates. Into the lower third comes Alexandra Klebe. Penn State's Klebe now trying to pick up more speed as she makes her way into the final 12 gates. Here comes Alexandra Klebe from Penn State. She'll be followed by the University of Minnesota Duluth's Amanda Peterson. But with 4 gates to go, it's Alexandra Klebe. And across the stripe, Penn State's Alexandra Klebe with a time of 59.25. Now it's Amanda Peterson from the University of Minnesota in Duluth. She is successfully through the top third, now into the middle section and across the halfway stripe comes Amanda Peterson. She'll be followed by the University of Nevada at Reno's Erica Horst. Nikki, it looks like they're having to scrape some speed here inside that middle section. The gates are certainly spread far apart, and it appears as they're carrying the speed out of the top third, and then they have to scrape a little. And a tough time here for Amanda Peterson in the final 6 gates. Peterson able to successfully cross the stripe, but had to really cut some speed there into the final flush of gates. She'll cross the line with a time of 56.25.
Absolutely, boss. The athletes that are going to perform well today are definitely going to be the ones that carry their speed all the way from the top down at the bottom of the hill and don't scrub any speed in that middle section where the gates get turny. A lot of these athletes are seeing that snow kick up off the tails of their skis. That means they're getting a little bit late, throwing on the brakes a little bit to hopefully stay in the course.
Now Erica Horst now from the University of Nevada in Reno has a good lower section, and she crosses the stripe The time of 51.33. That'll be good enough for 7th place for Erica Horst. Now on course, it's Maddie Firk from Sierra Nevada. Our top 5, it's Kelly Burgard, Danielle Shannon, Issa Floden, Emma Beatti, and Brown University's Kai Mosenthal. Still atop your leaderboard here in run number 1. From Sun Valley, Idaho, and the Greyhawk Trail, located in the beautiful Warm Springs base area in central Idaho. We're glad you're with us.
Boss, it's really an international event here at the USCSA. Matija Firk, the freshman out of Sierra Nevada College, is originally from Croatia, so cross that one off the list. Then we've got Sweden, and then, of course, folks coming from all over the country, east, west coast, middle of the country.
And a spectacular run for Maddie Firk from Sierra Nevada College, a time of 47.11. That's good enough for 2nd position right behind Kai Mosenthal. So just 0.3 of a second separating 1st and 2nd. Mosenthal, Firk, and Beatti atop your leaderboard here in run number 1. Shannon Bloom now from UMass Amherst on course, making her way into the lower 3rd, and she's skiing well. Oh, had to scrape speed there, tried to make the cut back on the left-hand turn and was unable to catch the edge. She has slid out of the course, as you can see, but she is hiking back up. You have to complete the 1st run in order to get the 2nd. These ladies will do just about anything to do that. As is evident here, Shannon Bloom. Big heart from Shannon Bloom. UMass Amherst. They'll be proud of Shannon Bloom as she makes her way back up and makes the gate. Now she'll finish the race, but it'll give her the opportunity to run the 2nd run later on this afternoon. A time of 118.61 for Shannon Bloom from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst.
Boss, we're sure to see a great 2nd run out of Shannon Bloom. She's an accomplished slalom skier. She came in 5th place at the Eastern Regionals this year. And, of course, she's only a sophomore, so she's got a couple more years for Nationals glory.
Now on course, bib number 20 from Lehigh University. It's Carolina Matson. Matson had some trouble in the top 3rd. She had to hike as well. But now she's back on course. Let's see if she can get the bottom half and get her momentum going here as Carolina Matson from Lehigh University. Our next racer is Kirsten Norby from the University. Well, we're going to check the UMD rating here. That's University of Minnesota and Duluth. Kirsten Norby, she is wearing bib number 21 as she awaits her first run from the start shack. And now coming across the finish line, it is Carolina Matson from Lehigh University with a time of 146.67. But her hard work up at top while she hiked to make the gate will give her a 2nd run this afternoon. Now coming into the middle section from the University of Minnesota Duluth, it is Kirsten Norby. She'll be followed by the University of Wisconsin's, check that, University of Washington's Allison Howe, wearing bib number 22. She awaits her 1st run. Haley Yolkin, Meredith Pike, Emma Peck-Coffin, Kirsten Evers, and Hillary Peterson. Your next 5 racers here in the ladies' 1st run of the slalom. Now into the lower 3rd comes Kirsten Norby from the University of Minnesota Duluth. 5 gates to go for Norby. And across the stripe, it's Kirsten Norby with a time of 59.62, good enough for 15th spot. Remember, important to be in the top 30 here after run number 1 as we'll flip that order. And that's who will start the 2nd run this afternoon as we'll crown a 2011 USCSA Ladies Slalom National Champion. Boss Hogg alongside Nikki Holden here from the USCSA Broadcast Center at the base of the Warm Springs area here in Sun Valley. Glad you're with us. A big crowd on hand. As Allison Howe from the University of Washington now making her way into the bottom section. Allison Howe, 5 gates to go. And here comes Allison Howe across the stripe in a time of 1:00.84.
Allison Howe, like a lot of the athletes, getting a little tied up. There's a very strong turn right before these combinations, and it's tough to see him coming. She got a little bit late there, but pulled around the gate and was able to pull out a respectable finish.
Now on course past the halfway stripe, it is Meredith Pike from the University of Rochester. Pike skiing well, has had a clean run. Of course, this is when the legs get tired. They really have to stay focused. Talk about core strength, Nikki Holden. It is all about core here in the final flush as Meredith Pike from the University of Rochester crosses the stripe with a time of 55.64. Good enough for 12th position for Meredith Pike. So your leaderboard, Kai Mosenthal from Brown University, tearing it up this morning in the first run with a 46.72. She's in the lead. Followed by Maddie Firk from Sierra Nevada, 47.11. Just 0.3 of a second behind Mosenthal. Then it's Emma Beatty from the University of British Columbia in third. She's followed by Issa Floden from Rocky Mountain College. And rounding out your top five, it's Danielle Shannon from Colby Sawyer. Now on course, Smith College's Emma Peck-Coffin. Making her way through the center section here on the Greyhawk Trail. Emma Peck-Coffin. She'll be followed by Kirsten Evers from the North Carolina State University. Meanwhile, into the bottom third comes Emma Peck-Coffin. She is moving well. A great flush for Coffin. Didn't have to scrape speed. This is a good run. Here comes Emma Peck-Coffin from Smith College. And across the stripe comes Coffin. It's good enough for third place. 48.29 for Emma Peck-Coffin. So the leaderboard changes. Kai Mosenthal still on top. Maddie Firk from Sierra Nevada in second. And now on the podium, in the third slot, it's Emma Peck-Coffin from Smith College. North Carolina State's Kirsten Evers, now on course wearing bib 26. She makes her way into the middle section. She'll be followed by Hillary Peterson. It is all about maintaining speed on this course today, Nikki Holden. Once you lose it, it is tough to regain it. But if you can keep it together all the way through, you can post a fast time here for the first run of the slalom race. And across the stripe comes Kirsten Evers from NC State. It's a time of 52.45, good enough for 10th slot. Nice to see the Dirty South represented here at the 2011 USCSA National Championships.
Indeed, boss. You know all about the Dirty South from Athens, Georgia. How's the skiing down there?
We have one of the biggest hills in all of Georgia, right outside of Athens, a total vertical drop of 35 feet.
Very impressive, boss.
Thank you very much.
Well, boss, let's take a look at the top teams as of right now as our first seeds have completed the course. Sitting in fifth right now is Colby Sawyer College. In fourth, Rocky Mountain College. Currently in the bronze position is the University of British Columbia. Sierra Nevada College is second, and leading the pack is Brown. But of course, boss, only with one skier down from each of those teams. Plymouth State is one of those teams you got to be watching out for, and with Martina Ryberg having a little bit of trouble, they just haven't appeared at the top of this leaderboard yet.
We just saw Hillary Peterson cross the stripe. She came over in 50.45. A good run for Peterson. That's good enough for 7th place. Meanwhile, Sophie LeBlanc from Clarkson University. She's on course wearing bib number 28. Looked like Sophie had a tough time coming out of the top third into the center transition. Lost the edge of the ski, skied right out of the course. Now she is hiking, trying to make the gate. Sophie LeBlanc from Carabasset Valley Academy. Been in this business a long time. A tough break for her on that gate. She's a great slalom skier. And here comes LeBlanc, now back on course, trying to get the momentum together. And again, a tough edge for LeBlanc. She's going to have to hike again.
As I've mentioned, once you fall once or twice, the chance of you falling again are just so high because it's so frustrating and it's very tiring to hike up the hill. But it looks like she will continue down the course. Hopefully she will get that second run.
Yeah, we'll have to find out from the judges whether she made that gate. Now she's back on course, and it's just too much. Now down and sliding down the hill is Sophie LeBlanc. 3 falls, that's typically enough, and that's going to be the end of the day for Sophie LeBlanc. A tough break, a great kid from Carabasset Valley Academy skiing now for Clarkson University, but that's going to be the end of her slalom national championship. Now it's Kelsey Foch from the University of Minnesota Duluth. She is on course wearing bib number 29. She'll be followed by Julia White from Syracuse University. Your top 5, Issa Floden from Rocky Mountain College in the 5th position. Emma Beatty is 4th from the University of British Columbia. Emma Peck Coffin in the third slot from Smith College. Maddie Firk from Sierra Nevada in second. And still leading atop the leaderboard from Brown University, it's Kai Mosenthal. Kelsey Foch is going to be a DNF as well. It looks like, Nikki Holden, this course is becoming more and more difficult as these skiers come down.
Yeah, boss, these skiers getting so much speed in this straightforward top section that when they bring it all into that undergate and into the very turny midsection, it's sometimes hard to get those skis around the gates, and that was what happened to Kelsey Foch out of the University of Minnesota Duluth. She's a junior there, so hopefully she'll be back here next year and be able to hopefully step it up in the slalom competition.
Now on course, wearing bib number 30 from Syracuse University, it's Julia White. And White having a good run, but again, the same spot. Now, Nikki, we're starting to see a pattern develop here as they make the transition out of the top third into the middle section. There is a set of gates there. They're spaced relatively far apart, but I suspect there is a substantial pitch change in that section, which are throwing these racers off.
Absolutely, boss. Julia White, originally from Chittenden, Vermont, skis out of Killington. It's the pitch there is not the same as Sun Valley. I don't know, flying in here, it was just flat, Idaho, flat, 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 and then all of a sudden, this behemoth of a mountain in Sun Valley just popping out of there. So much pitch, and it looks like Julia White is really having some trouble navigating it.
Just a quick message.
Well, she's going to try to get back and know that's going to be the end of the day for Julia White. From Syracuse University, a tough break for Julia White. Coming up next, we'll see Keena Cagnes from James Madison University.
Time to cross off one more country here in the USCSA International Bingo. Keena is from Munich, Germany, but currently attending James Madison University. This will be her last year of USCSA competition as she's a senior there.
So an important day for Keena Cagnes from James Madison University. And now she is on course wearing bib number 31. She's at the top section. She'll come into your view soon. And Keena Cagnes trying to navigate, and she successfully does. Now she makes the transition into the middle. Here comes Keena Cagnes. Kai Mosenthal, the one to beat from Brown University with a blistering time of 46.72 here in the first run. More and more difficult as this course gets tracked up at a beautiful sunny day here in Sun Valley. And down goes Keena Cagnes from James Madison University as she slides through 3, 4, 5, 6 gates. You know, Nikki, it really is a testament as to how steep this center section is, because once these girls fall down, they're 5 or 6 gates before they're able to stop themselves as they slide down this slippery track.
Fortunately, though, boss, we've got a good buffer zone on both sides of the hill, and this Sun Valley staff, all about safety, has multiple layers of B-netting. Really shouldn't be an issue of safety, but certainly a little bit demoralizing to, after falling from the course, to have to slide down for a good 100 feet. That's just salt on the wounds, boss.
Now it's Michelle Spear from Colby Sawyer College. She's got a good run going at the top. Can she hold on? She'll make the transition. This is the dangerous part of the course. We've seen a lot of action there, and sure enough, the same thing coming into the middle section. She catches an edge, Michelle Spear from Colby Sawyer, and she is still sliding 5, 6, 7 gates down now. That'll be the end of the day for Michelle Spear. So the Greyhawk run here at the Warm Springs base area of Sun Valley, Idaho, proving to be a monster here in the ladies slalom event. And it seems to be one specific section of this course. Now is she going to try to hike because she came back past a lot of gates? She is hiking. At some point, she's going to know how high she's going to have to hike up there. And look how difficult it is, Nikki, just for them to hike up the hill.
So steep, boss. You know, that spot that everybody's running into trouble, it looks like the sun has been out on that very spot. And now that, you know, we're 30 racers deep, there's probably some rutting going on that's probably throwing these racers some problems. So you got the rutting, you got the super tight turns, and you've got the pitch. It's just a deadly combination.
Now there's a course hold from the top, giving Michelle Spear from Colby Sawyer College an opportunity to hike and make the gates. I mean, she's still got 2 gates to go. A lot of heart being shown here from Michelle Spear from Colby Sawyer College. You got to give her give her the props for the amount of effort it's taking right now just to get back up on course. But she's going to go for a second run. There's no quitting in Michelle Spear, and it looks like she did hike and make the gate. So now Michelle Spear back on course. But what's happened to your legs at this point, Nikki Holden?
Oh, it's rough. Those Colby Sawyer athletes are called the Chargers, and she's really going to need to recharge when she gets to the bottom of this hill. She is going to be wiped.
Michelle Spear, all heart today here in the first run from Colby Sawyer College. And now she's down again. A tough break for Spear. Just as we said, the amount of energy that is required to hike 2 or 3 gates in this course is so incredible that it makes it very, very difficult to get your form back on, as she has fallen once again. Let's see if she's going to hike it. No, it looks like she's going to ski out. And that's going to be the end of the day for Michelle Spear. Tough break for Michelle Spear from Colby Sawyer College. Now on course from the College of Idaho, it's Nina Herner. Herner having a good run. Past the halfway mark into the lower third. Almost lost it, but regained herself. Now she's into the flush and back on course. A good run by Nina Herner from College of Idaho. Now she'll make it into the flush. A tough final flush here for Herner. Does she have the strength? A good run for Nina Herner as she crosses the finish line in a time of 52.71. Good enough for 13th position. A good run for the College of Idaho's Nina Herner. Now it's Tori Anderson from Whitman College, wearing bib number 34. She's making her way into the transition. Let's see if she can successfully navigate from the sun to the shadow. It seems, Nikki Holden, that that's where much of the problems are happening, is right at that sun to shade transition point.
Tori Anderson, of course, though, with a very keen eye. She's an art history minor over there at Whitman College. Maybe that eye training served her well as she transitioned from the sun into the shadows.
She's got a clean run going now. Tori Anderson from Whitman College. 4 gates to go. Here's the final flush as she pushes hard, tucks, and crosses the stripe in a time of 53.92. Good enough for 15th place for Tori Anderson from Whitman College. Now out of the start shack into the top third is Julia Piper from Lehigh University. She'll be followed by Sierra Olson from Northern Michigan University. Here comes Julia Piper. And Piper has a tough time in the sun to shade transition up there. Definitely we'll find out what kind of conditions that we're seeing here in that transition, but I suspect you're right, Nikki Holden. We could have some rutting as a result of the temperature change from in and out of the sun.
Absolutely, boss. It looks like one of those gates just reached out and grabbed onto one of those skis there as she will make her way off the course. Next up, though, we'll see Amy Gifford out of UMass Amherst. She's a senior there. Her home mountain is Sugarloaf up in Maine. She is originally from Redfield, Maine. She was 10th overall at the ECSC Regional Championships. That's the ones that the McConnell Division skis out of, such as teams like Colby Sawyer, Plymouth State. Some of the high performers do come out of that Eastern Regionals, and that's a very impressive finish by Amy Gifford for 10th overall. We'll see how she does here at the National Championship.
Still on course, it's Sierra Olson from Northern Michigan University. Has a good first split of 24.49, good enough for 22nd position. She'll have to pick up some speed here in the lower course to make the top 10. Sierra Olson now wearing bib number 36 from Northern Michigan University on course. And here comes Sierra Olson as Amy Gifford from UMass Amherst now drops in from the start shack into the top third. Meanwhile, here at the bottom, it is Northern Michigan's Sierra Olson. Olson wide, but still in it. And into the final flush comes Sierra Olson. Olson now crossing the stripe with a time of 104.54, but she will have a second run this afternoon. UMass Amherst, Amy Gifford, wearing bib number 37 into the center part, into the cold shadows of this Greyhawk run, but she's skiing well. One thing's for sure, Nikki Holden, Sugarloaf skiers can ski just about any condition. In fact, we're not sure what good snow is all about often up at Sugarloaf, USA.
What does that even mean, boss?
Yeah. That's why we come to Sun Valley. Here comes Amy Gifford from UMass Amherst. Into the final flush, a good run for Gifford. Gifford crosses the stripe with a time of 57.42. Good enough for 19th place. So here are your top 10 From the University of Nevada in Reno, it's Erica Horst. In the 9th slot, Katie Olstead from St. Olaf. Boston College's Kelly Burgard in 8th. It's Hillary Peterson in the 7th position. In the 6th slot from Colby Sawyer College, Danielle Shannon, now rounding out your top 5. Issa Floden from Rocky Mountain College. In 4th, it's Emma Beatty from the University of British Columbia. In 3rd place, Emma Peck-Coffin from Smith. Sierra Nevada's Maddie Firk in 2nd and currently leading. After the first run here from Brown University, it's Kai Mosenthal.
Right there we saw bib number 38, Mimi Palavera. She's a Rocky Mountain College skier, another international one, originally from Boden, Sweden. The Swedes really taking over here at the USCSA National Championship. I'm sure the conditions over there in Sweden are probably almost as good as here in Sun Valley.
A good run for Mimi Palavara from Rocky Mountain College. We had a change in the start order here, but she is now across the stripe with a time of 50.35. That's good enough for a top 10 in the 7th slot. Now crossing Boston College's Hillary Weber with a time of 52.28, good enough for 12th position. So 2 good runs there from Mimi Palavara from Rocky Mountain College and Hillary Weber from Boston College. Now on course from British Columbia, it's Amanda Driver. She'll be followed by Plymouth State University's Marley Pollock.
Amanda Driver's an 18-year-old freshman, originally from Calgary, Alberta, skiing out of Whistler as well, another great hill. She's a science major and a human kinetics minor.
And here comes Amanda Driver from the University of British Columbia into the final flush, and across the stripe comes Driver. And Driver with a good run. Good enough for top 10 in 9th spot with a time of 50.54. Plymouth State's Marley Pollock is next. We'll then see Krista Consiglio from Brown University. Now into the transition comes Marley Pollock. She was 6th at the first intermediate split gate. She's got a good run going, but she got late there. She'll have to hike back up.
Pollock, of course, coming in 6th place at the giant slalom event. She won't be that high up in today's event, but with so many people running into some trouble, she might still have a shot at maybe making that overall All-American position. That's, of course, when you combine your GS and slalom times, and we'll see how she finishes up this run right here.
Here comes Marley Pollock from Plymouth State University, and across the stripe in 56.23 is Pollock. She had a great run going. You know, it's amazing to watch these girls carry the speed through the center part of this course. It almost is too much speed, and I bet that they'll be radioing some of that information back up to the start shack. So the second half of this ladies' field will have some better information. You got to slow down a little bit when it's this steep. And the champions are the ones who are able to decide how much to slow down. Here comes Krista Consiglio from Brown University. Into the final flush and across the stripe, it's Consiglio with a great run, 49.96, good enough for 7th position. As you said, Nikki Holden, it's anyone's race because anything can happen in this second run this afternoon from the Greyhawk Trail.
Absolutely, boss, and you mentioned that they'll probably be radioing some information up, and that's certainly true. Rather than thinking about maybe slowing down, though, these athletes are probably going to be focusing on getting a higher line, getting earlier, because a lot of these athletes are falling way behind in this steep and turny section, and I think that keeping that high line is going to be a key to victory.
Here comes Nicole Polshuk from the University of Nevada in Reno. She's into the final 5 gates for Polshuk. And across the line comes Nicole Polshuk with a time of 54.21, good enough for 20th position. Kai Mosenthal still atop your leaderboard from Brown University. Now on course from Stanford, it's Maddie McCartney. She's wearing bib number 44. She'll be followed by Penn State University's Rebecca Wong. It's Issa Floden, Emma Beatty, Emma Peck-Coffin, Maddie Firk, and Kai Mosenthal in your top 5 positions here in run number 1 for the Women's Slalom National Championships. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. Thanks for joining us at www.uscsa.com. Boss Hogg alongside Nikki Holden, bringing you the action from the USCSA broadcast center here at the Warm Springs base area at the bottom of the beautiful Greyhawk Run. This is the venue for the men's and women's slalom. We completed the men's and women's giant slalom yesterday, and it is proven to be all the difficult here today for this ladies slalom race. And now across the stripe from Stanford University, it's Maddie McCartney. Rebecca Wong from Penn State University now on course. She'll be coming down next. Looks like she's had some problems here in that same transition from the sun to the shade.
Yeah, absolutely, boss. But it looks like she's back on course. Coming out of that hairpin up top, but skidding out just a bit. She's now into the turniest section of the course, and that one gate that she's just about to hit, yeah, she skidded out just a little bit because it is a very steep turn, but she's back on course and approaching this dangerous hairpin. Right at the bottom here after this hairpin is where a lot of athletes have had some trouble, but she will navigate it with ease, boss.
Here comes Rebecca Wong from Penn State University. And across the line is Wong with a time of 1:18.62. Madison McLaughlin from St. Olaf now on course, wearing bib number 46. And again, some tough trouble for her in the transition into the second half of the course, right there where the light turns to shade.
Maddie McLaughlin, the freshman out of St. Olaf College, only 16 years old. That sounds young for a college freshman, but maybe that inexperience catching up to her as she will not finish today's course.
So a tough break for Maddie McLaughlin. Now it is Tessa Herman, wearing bib number 47 from Sierra Nevada College. Making her way out of the start gate. Past the top third now into the transition. Let's see if she can successfully navigate it. Lots of girls having problems in relatively the same spot up high on the hill. Right there, and again, in the exact same position as they transfer from the light to the shade. There is a hard left-hand turn for these ladies, and many of them having a tough time navigating. Tessa Herman from Sierra Nevada. She hikes back up and makes the gate. Now she's back on course.
Tessa Herman, another freshman. She's got plenty more opportunities for national championships, but it won't be today. She's originally from Slovenia, so another international skier, boss. The USCSA is really becoming a international phenomenon. Folks coming from all over the world to ski in this national championship.
Across the stripe comes Tessa Herman from Sierra Nevada College in a time of 1:03.39. But more importantly, she will have a second shot at it this afternoon, as we'll bring you live coverage of the second run here, beginning at 12:45 p.m. local time. That's 2:45 back in the east.
Looks like Gabrielle Gould, who is now on course, made a very good transition from the sun to the shade. Now, this is interesting, boss. She's originally from Bradford, Vermont, skiing out of Burke Mountain Academy, but now she's skiing on the West Coast with the College of Idaho. I wonder if that experience in all different kinds of conditions helped her there.
Well, she's skiing well here as she navigates the final 5 gates. Into the flush and across the stripe comes Gabriella Gould from College of Idaho with a time of 55.03. Good enough for 21st position for Gabby Gould. Boston College's Eric Riley now on course. She'll be followed by Colby Sawyer's Nicole DiNapoli. Still no change in the top 5. Kai Mosenthal leads after round 1 from Brown University, a time of 46.72, blistering fast. She's followed by Maddie Firk from Sierra Nevada College. Emma Beck Coffin from Smith in third. 4th place belongs to Emma Beatty from British Columbia. And rounding out your top 5 from Rocky Mountain College's Issa Floden.
Erica Riley at Boston College now on course. She's been skiing for a long time. She was a J4 Junior Olympic champion in Super G, and it looks like she's having a great run today. It looks like the Mighty have stayed in their aforementioned Mighty position, boss.
And across the line comes Erica Riley from Boston College with a time of 1:05.85. Nicole DiNapoli now from Colby Sawyer College, wearing bib number 50. She is having to hike high upon the course. Missed a gate, but wants a second run.
Fortunately, boss, this Colby Sawyer team very deep. They placed 5th overall in the giant slalom, and I expect them to do well today, even without a great performance from Nicole Dinapoli, although it looks like she may get a second run after this hike.
Well, it's not just enough, Nikki Holden, to hike back and make the gate, because once you've done that, now your legs are literally shaking. The lactic acid, just with 30 or 40 seconds and extra energy flowing wildly through your legs, and still you have 25 gates you have to navigate, and some of them are the most difficult on this Greyhawk Trail.
Nuclear meltdown, if you will, boss.
Well, she has made it through her hike and is now back on course. It's Colby Sawyer's Nicole Dinapoli. And now Dinapoli. And you can just see the exhaustion. 10 gates to go for Dinapoli. She's got to make it through the flush.
Looks like she missed that top gate of the flush. Staring up the course, contemplating whether she wants to continue, looking very frustrated.
Colby Sawyer College's coach Garrett Lasher. He teaches them to hike and hike some more. And we have seen these Colby Sawyer athletes do exactly that.
They certainly ate their Wheaties this morning, boss.
Now Nicole Dinapoli. She's made the gate. She's into the final 3. And after a lot of work, Nicole Dinapoli crosses the stripe with a time of 2:08.35. But it is certainly a mental victory for Dinapoli. She'll have a second shot at a second run later on this afternoon. Now coming across the stripe from St. Olaf, it's Jeanette Seski with a good run for Seski, 53.74. Good enough for 19th place. Now on course from British Columbia, Megan McLeod wearing bib 52. She'll be followed by Stanford University's Elizabeth Rosen.
Megan McLeod, the 22-year-old senior out of the University of British Columbia. It's another skier out of Whistler, and she's a finance major over there at the University of British Columbia.
Megan McLeod having some difficulty in the top third as she makes the transition as well. She had to hike. She did. Now she's back on course. Here comes Megan McLeod into the shadows. Now into the technical steep part in the center. She'll make her way into the lower third soon. She's definitely behind, has to scrape some speed. Now she's back on. Here comes Megan McLeod from the University of British Columbia. Physical conditioning a must here, as this is a challenging track here for the ladies in the first round. And into the final flush and across the stripe comes Megan McLeod from British Columbia with a time of 1:08.04.
Well, that's one of the most challenging things about this course is it does not reward being late, as Megan McLeod just found. At this very turny section, if you get late, you're going to run into that double fall line. It looks like the blue to red. If you get late, you're going to be going back uphill this other side on this trail. This trail almost shapes like a little bit of a very mini half pipe, if you will. Lowest point in the center and then rising back up in elevation on both sides. So it's really about getting early.
Elizabeth Rosen from Stanford University. Now she's on course at the top third. Skiing very cautiously. Here comes Elizabeth Rosen into the transition, into the halfway point. Kirsten Anderson from Syracuse University. She awaits at the top start shack for her first run. Your leaderboard, Maddie Firk from Sierra Nevada College in second place. Right behind Kai Mosenthal from Brown University, just 0.3 of a second, separating the two top finishers. And it looks like that Elizabeth Rosen from Stanford University, right there in the transition. Unfortunately, she has lost a ski, and that's, well, they've picked the ski up, so that's going to be the end of the day for Stanford's lady ski racer. Very challenging here from the Warm Springs base area and the Greyhawk Trail in Sun Valley, Idaho. Certainly nothing new for us today, as we have seen 2 days of giant slalom racing on the same trail. A world-class competition race course here from Sun Valley, Idaho. It will take every bit of physical preparation and mental fortitude to make your way successfully down this slalom course today. Live coverage of the second run beginning at 12:45 this afternoon. We'll actually begin the second run at 1 p.m. today. 1 o'clock local time, that's Mountain Time. 3 o'clock back in the east. Of course, our live broadcast coverage will begin at 12:45, so stay tuned for that. Run number 2 coming up later on this afternoon. Kai Mosenthal, your leader so far from Brown University. She's followed by Maddie Firk from Sierra Nevada. Emma Peck-Coffin from Smith in the 3rd spot. Emma Beatty from British Columbia in 4th, and rounding out your top 5 from Rocky Mountain College, it's Isa Floden. Caitlin Pollock from Plymouth State University now in the start shack, awaiting her first run. On course from James Madison University, it's Carolyn Honer. She's wearing bib number 55.
Boss, as you mentioned, this course is very difficult, along with the giant slalom courses that we saw the last 2 days, and that's sort of been the theme. This has been one of the most athletically challenging USCSA national championships in recent history. Of course, that 8.5 kilometer classic event over on the Nordic side was very challenging, 600 feet of vertical climb, and then yesterday, the border cross and skier cross were some of the most challenging runs ever seen by USCSA athletes, sending those skiers and riders all the way across the hill and over huge jumps into final rollers. Certainly challenge on the body, just like this slalom course here at the base of Sun Valley.
Now it's Carolyn Honer from James Madison University making her way into the final 7 gates. A tough run for Honer, but she is going to successfully finish. She'll get a second run this afternoon, and across the stripe comes Carolyn Honer from James Madison with a time of 1:20.96. Wanted to give you some information about Syracuse's Kirsten Anderson. Kirsten skied out about halfway up the hill, so she will be a DNF. Meanwhile, Caitlin Pollock from Plymouth State University on course, wearing bib number 56. And she'll be followed by Brown University's Emma LeBlanc.
Emma LeBlanc, a freshman out of Brown. She's got to be a woman after your own heart, boss. Her home mountain's Sugarbush.
Caitlin Pollock now has skied out of the course as well. She will not hike, and that's going to be the end of the day for Caitlin Pollock. Emma LeBlanc now in the top 3rd. Making her way into the transition. She's got a good run going, but now she's late again. She had to scrub speed to get back on course, and she has. Didn't lose too much momentum. As Emma LeBlanc now into the transition. Let's see if she can keep it going. We need a good run here. Into the flush at the top is Emma LeBlanc. She's got a good run. She'll get late, but then recover. Now she's back into her form. Here comes Emma LeBlanc, letting them fly left to right. Oh, she almost got... And she did. Got caught in the flush. About 10 gates to go. Now she's going to ski back. Let's see if she's going to hike and make it. She is indeed. So a tough break for Emma LeBlanc. She had good speed coming through the entire course. She got to the lower 3rd, about 10 gates from the finish. And now she's back on course after hiking to make the gate. But she misses the flush right there, skis out of the course. That's going to be the end of the day for Emma LeBlanc. Brutal here on the Greyhawk Trail, folks. Lots of these ladies having a tough time negotiating this track. It is going to take serious conditioning and focus to be able to make it through the first run here of the Ladies National Championship Slalom Race.
Well, boss, let's take a look at some of those teams that have been able to handle this brutal course so far. In 5th right now, we've got Rocky Mountain College. Sitting in 4th right now is Brown. In 3rd, Boston College. 2nd place right now is the University of British Columbia. And the hometown heroes, College of Idaho, is in 1st place right now, but many more racers to come.
It's a big day for the College of Idaho here on their home turf. Meanwhile, crossing the finish line from Rocky Mountain College, it was Alexandra Gurus. She came across in 52.98, good enough for 18th spot. Now on course, the University of Minnesota Duluth, Kayla Weiserek. Kayla now into the lower 3rd, having a clean run. Jazz Campbell from Whitman College. She awaits at the top in the start shack for her first run. Kai Mosenthal from Brown University still atop your leaderboard. And into the final 8 gates comes University of Minnesota Duluth's Kayla Weiserek. Now Weiserek into the final flush. And across the stripe is Kayla Weiserek with a time of 101.43, good enough for 35th position. Now at the top, it's Whitman College's Jazz Campbell. Campbell with a good clean run in the top. Now moves into the center section, into the light to darkness transition. She successfully navigates it, gets through the flush, has to stay in front of it. She's skiing well. Here comes Jazz Campbell from Whitman College. Into the lower third comes Campbell. She's got good rhythm. Will she be able to make the flush here? Here comes Jazz Campbell. 6 gates to go for Campbell. Campbell into the final flush. Here comes Campbell, a clean run. Across the stripe comes Jazz Campbell with a time of 52.73. Good enough for 18th position for Jazz Campbell from Whitman College. Now it's the University of Nevada at Reno's Amy Harris. She's wearing bib number 61. She'll be followed by UMass Amherst's Allison Hubbard. Now into the center section, but late, trying to recover, is Amy Harris from Nevada Reno. Here comes Amy Harris. 12 gates to go for Harris. The legs are burning now, but she's skiing well. Into the flush. Here comes Amy Harris. 1 flush to go. She navigates it successfully, and across the stripe comes Amy Harris from the University of Nevada in Reno with a time of 54.75, good enough for 24th slot. She'll want to hold on to that slot as the top 30 reverse in order, and they'll come down first in the second run of today's Ladies Slalom National Championship. Boss Hogg alongside Nikki Holden here from the USCSA broadcast booth. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. A big crowd gathered around here at the bottom of the Greyhawk Trail in the beautiful Warm Springs base area of Sun Valley, Idaho. UMass Amherst's Allison Hubbard now into the final stretch and final flush. Here comes Hubbard. Across the finish line is Allison Hubbard with a time of 53.82, good enough for 22nd position for Hubbard.
Allison Hubbard with a rare clean run right there. Rare enough for her, but for any competitor, we've seen a lot of DNFs, a lot of sliding out, a lot of hiking, but the senior out of UMass, originally from Buffalo, New York, with a very clean run there, and she's got potential to do well if she can throw down a consistent second run.
Anything can happen in run number 2. It's certainly evident by what we've seen here in the first run today. A tough race course down this Greyhawk Trail as Jill Clevenger from Clarkson University makes her way into the final flush. Here comes Clevenger. Clarkson's Jill Clevenger now across the finish line with a time of 56.03. That's good enough for 29th position, but she's close to the bubble. Hillary Deagle now from Penn State University. She's on course into the center part of the track. Hedvig Spangs from Sierra Nevada College. She awaits her first run in the start shack. She'll be next. Meanwhile, it's Penn State's Hillary Deagle. Deagle now making her way. Oh, and Deagle has fallen. Deagle has fallen, but just missed a gate. She's going to hike. Oh, it doesn't appear she missed the gate. She just fell when she went around the gate, so she's back on course. Here comes Hillary Deagle from Penn State University. Deagle now into the lower third. The final 8 gates for Deagle. Hedvig Spangs now on course from Sierra Nevada College. 103 lady racers scheduled to come down here in the first run of the women's slalom. And across the stripe comes Hillary Deagle from Penn State University with a time of 113.56. Hedvig Spangs now from Sierra Nevada College, skiing well through the center section. This is a good run for Hedvig Spangs. If she can keep it clean, she's got a chance. Here comes Hedvig Spangs. Spangs moving extremely well, staying ahead of it, not getting behind. Into the final flush comes Hedvig Spangs. Spangs from Sierra Nevada College. Now across the stripe, it's Hedvig Spangs. And Spangs across in 50.66. That's good enough for 13th position for Hedvig Spangs.
A very fast run there for Hedvig, boss. She looks very tired at the bottom of the hill. Those legs moving back and forth across the course at tremendous speeds.
Now into the center section comes Ellen Holmes from Northern Michigan University. She'll be followed by Lehigh's Delia Rigi. Here's our top 10, tied for the 10th spot. It's Amanda Driver from University of British Columbia alongside Kelly Burgart from Boston College. In the 9th position, Hillary Peterson. In 8th, it's Mimi Palavara from Rocky Mountain College. In 7th, Krista Consiglio from Brown. 6th belongs to Colby Sawyer's Danielle Shannon. Meanwhile, Ellen Holmes from Northern Michigan University crosses the finish line with a time of 104.62. Good enough for 43rd slot. Lehigh University's Delia Rigi, wearing bib number 67, now through the top third into the center section in the transition. And she gets way behind, falls back on her skis. She's down, but now back up and hiking. She's going to make the gate. Great heart shown by many of these lady racers here today in Sun Valley, Idaho, as an extremely difficult world-class competition hill here at the Greyhawk Trail. The USCSA has set up a doozy here, and it is causing all kinds of problems for our lady slalom racers today.
Fortunately, boss, as you mentioned, it's a nice sunny day here out at the aptly named Sun Valley. I mean, when you're going to fall, wipe out, have to hike, be on the trail for longer than a normal period of time, it's nice to have some nice weather conditions so you're not freezing your butt off out there, boss.
Well, it is a beautiful morning here in the Warm Springs base area. Boss Hogg alongside Nikki Holden, bringing you all of the action from the USCSA Broadcast Center. Glad you're with us at www.uscsa.com. Here comes Delia Rigi from Lehigh University. Now on course from the University of Minnesota Duluth, it's Chelsea Williams wearing bib number 68. She is successfully navigating the top third into the transition. Meanwhile, here at the bottom, Delia Rigi from Lehigh University. Into the final flush and across the stripe comes Delia Rigi. And Rigi with a time of 154.29. But she'll get a second run. So the hard work, hiking back up to make the gate, pays off for Delia Rigi.
Well, boss, as you may know, the logistics of getting a team out here alone is pretty challenging. You have to coordinate first after you win regionals, getting the funding from your school, getting parents behind you, getting the support of your team. And right now on course, the senior out of the University of Minnesota Duluth, Chelsea Williams, probably had a huge role in that for her team. She is the secretary of her team out there. She's also a smarty. She made Dean's List in 2010.
Chelsea Williams across the stripe in a time of 1:00.48. Good enough for 38th position for Chelsea Williams from the University of Minnesota in Duluth. Now coming out of the halfway section into the lower third from the University of British Columbia, it's Kelsey Nilsson. She'll be followed by Brown's Andrea Radke. And a good run going here for Kelsey Nilsson from British Columbia. Making good time. Oh, she got wild there. She's going to have to hike back up. Caught an edge of the ski. It shot her out of the course, but she's going to make the gate. And into the final flush after a really good run for Kelsey Nilsson. A shame here at the bottom. And she crosses the stripe in 59.82. Good enough for 37th position.
Kelsey Nilsson is a junior out of the University of British Columbia. And that impressive recovery right there at the bottom. Unfortunately that she slipped out, but the hike was so short, boss, because she used that momentum and speed coming down the hill to really slingshot her back up behind that gate she missed, and she was back on course in no time.
Now it's Andrea Radke from Brown University. She's into the final 6 gates. Skiing a little far behind, but now caught up into the final flush and across the stripe comes Andrea Radke from Brown University with a good run, 55.29. That's good enough for 28th position. Now on course, bib number 71 from Plymouth State University. It's Catherine Gohler. She'll be followed by St. Olaf's Lori Tashler. But no change in your top 5. Issa Floden from Rocky Mountain in 5th. Emma Beatty in 4th from British Columbia. Smith College's Emma Peck-Coffin in the 3rd slot. Sierra Nevada's Maddie Firk in 2nd. And Kai Mosenthal, still your leader from Brown University, with a rocket-fast time of 46.72. Plymouth State University's Catherine Gohler now Looks like she is skied out of the course. That's going to be the end of the day for Catherine Goler from Plymouth State. As our course workers are now out trying to smooth out some of the ruts here in the transition section. You know, Nikki Holden, it takes a village to pull one of these ski races off, especially in a slalom where you almost have to have 3 or 4 times as many course workers just to manage the small section of their specific area in which they take care of gates that fall or get hit. And there are certainly lots of course workers up and down both sides of this Greyhawk Trail today. We'd like to thank all of them because without them it is difficult to have a ladies slalom activity like this one.
Not only do you have to have folks to replace all these gates, you also have to worry about having gatekeepers with keen eyes. It's such a challenging course, and these racers are going so fast. Sometimes it's hard to tell if they've caught a tip or made it through a gate. So those gatekeepers doing a great job out there too.
Bib number 72. It belongs to Lori Tashler from St. Olaf. We'll see her next as she awaits to drop in from the top and the start shack.
Lori Tashler is a senior out of St. Olaf College. St. Olaf, really a great program. Not only do they have a fantastic Alpine program that placed 6th in the giant slalom on Tuesday, they've also got an incredible Nordic program, perennial champions in that event. And Lori Tashler is just an example of one great St. Olaf athlete. As I mentioned, boss, it's all about preparation all year long, and this senior told us that she's happy to have completed her last practice ever as a senior. That's one of her accomplishments, boss, and hopefully it'll pay off here at Sun Valley.
Lori Tashler waiting to drop in. She'll be followed by Boston College's Alexandra Boyd, and it'll be UMass Amherst Sophia House, followed by Casey Noble, Kelly Bracken, Katarina Kessel, Stein Lund, Paige Doolin, and Emily Garand. 103 lady racers here in the first run of 2 from the Greyhawk Trail in Sun Valley, Idaho. It's all part of the 2011 USCSA Women's Slalom National Championship. We're glad to be bringing you coverage. Now on course, it's Lori Tashler from St. Olaf. Making her way through the center section into the lower third is Tashler. Lori Tashler now. With 10 gates to go, here comes Tashler. Into your view is Lori Tashler from St. Olaf. Now into the final flush. 3 gates to go, and across the stripe, it's Lori Tashler from St. Olaf in a time of 53.40. A great time for Tashler. That's good enough for 22nd position. Hopefully she can stay in the flip here, as that is the goal, to make the top 30, so you can be one of the first 30 to come down in run number 2. Now on course, Boston College's Alexandra Boyd. She's wearing bib 73. She'll be followed by UMass Amherst's Sophia House.
Sophia House, a sophomore out of UMass Amherst. She's originally from Great Barrington, Massachusetts, so she certainly knows her fair range of eastern ski conditions, but she was able to preview these great out west ski conditions when she went out to Whistler Blackcomb with her 2 best friends and her dad recently.
And a tough break for Alexandra Boyd. Had a good run going here into the bottom third. Was unable to navigate one of the last gates in the first part of the final flush. And she is able to hike and make her way across the stripe, but not after losing a lot of speed and time. That'll be Boston College's Alexandra Boyd in a time of 108.23. Now it's Sophia House from UMass Amherst. She'll be followed by Casey Noble from Lehigh University. Also left to come, Kelly Bracken, Katarina Kessel, Stein Lund, Paige Doolin, Emily Garand, Katie Kernan, Brittany Anderson, Anna Hosmer, and Caitlin Skufka. Now into the lower third. It's Sophia House from UMass Amherst. She's got good speed. Now into the final flush comes House. UMass Amherst, Sophia House across the line in a time of 109.79. Lehigh University's Casey Noble now on course. Wearing bib 75, she'll be followed by Kelly Bracken from Syracuse. And right out of the gate at the top of the course, Casey Noble had a tough time She's trying to hike back up right now. And it looks like she's successfully done that. So now back on course, it's Casey Noble from Lehigh University. Kai Mosenthal from Brown University, still the one to beat here in the first run of the ladies slalom. She ran early. She was bib number 5, 46.72. Maddie Firk, though, bib number 18 from Sierra Nevada with a time of 47.11. Just 0.3 of a second behind Mosenthal. And it's Imapek Coffin running out of the 25th position from Smith College. 48.29 is her time, so just 0.2 back of Firk is Coffin. Everybody bunched up together there, all from different parts of this starting order. So no real rhyme to reason to what's happening here on the Greyhawk Trail in Sun Valley, Idaho. One thing we do know is physical conditioning and laser-like focus a requirement to make the top 10 here in today's ladies slalom. Now across the stripe, it's Casey Noble from Lehigh University in a time of 1:47.74. But more importantly, Noble will have a second run this afternoon. Now on course, Kelly Bracken from Syracuse University. She's made her way into the transition and she straddles a gate. Straddles a gate and hits the ground. It's Kelly Bracken from Syracuse University. She's lost a ski, but she's got it in her hand, and it does not appear she is going to hike back for that gate. So that is going to be the end of the day for Syracuse University's Kelly Bracken.
Well, boss, of course, when these skiers lose a ski before the last couple of gates, that automatically is a did not finish. I don't think that holding the ski technically counts as having it on, but we'll have to go to the exact USCSA rule books to verify that. Of course, now on course is Katrina Kissel of Penn State. That Penn State team doing great in a lot of events this week. We saw some great Penn State men's skiers in an exhibition in the skier cross yesterday, and they were looking very strong.
Now into the lower third. It is Katarina Kissel from Penn State University. Into the final flush comes Kissel. Penn State's Katarina Kissel across the stripe in a time of 1:09.51. Good enough for 52nd position as her fan club goes wild here in the base area. Loving the performance from Katarina Kissel from Penn State University. Now on course wearing bib number 80, it's Stein Lund from Sierra Nevada College. She'll be followed by Paige Doolin from Northern Michigan. Here is Stein Lund. Lund now through the final flush and across the stripe. It's Stein Lund. And a good time for Lund, 53.97. That's good enough for 26th position. Paige Doolin now into the center part of the course from Northern Michigan University. She'll be followed by Clarkson's Emily Garand. Your top 10, it's Driver and Burgart tied for 10th. In 9th, Peterson, Palavara in 8th, Consiglio in 7th, Shannon in 6th, Floden in 5th, Beatty in 4th, Coffin in 3rd, Firk in 2nd, and still Kai Mosenthal from Brown University atop the leaderboard here in round 1 of the ladies Slalom National Championships.
Boss, a lot of great talent to come, but let's take a look at the team standings as of right now.
First, it's Paige Doolin across the stripe in a time of 1:01.29. That's good enough for 44th position, while Clarkson's Emily Garand now on course.
In 5th place, we've got the University of Nevada at Reno. In 4th, University of British Columbia. 3rd place is St. Olaf. In 2nd place right now is Rocky Mountain College. And sitting in 1st place is the only team in the top 5 from the East Coast. That's Brown, of course, being led with a 1st place time, a 7th place time, and a 28th place time. That's 3 skiers in the flip, boss. Very impressive out of Brown.
Especially with these conditions here in Sun Valley this morning. Now making her way across the finish line from Clarkson University, it's Emily Garand with a good run for Garand, 57.72 for Emily Garand. Now Katie Kernan from the College of Idaho on course, wearing bib number 84. Brittany Anderson from Rocky Mountain College. She sits atop the start, waiting to drop in for run number 1 for Brittany Anderson. And a tough day for Katie Kernan from the College of Idaho. She has skied out and is a DNF, so no second run. Now we await Rocky Mountain College's Brittany Anderson. She is in the start shack, waiting to break the bar and begin her first run here of 2. And now she's on course. Here comes Brittany Anderson from Rocky Mountain College. Don't forget, we'll be back on the air this afternoon at 12:45 local time, bringing you live coverage of the second run of the Ladies Alpine Slalom Championships here from the Greyhawk Trail in the Warm Springs area of Sun Valley.
Well, boss, a quick update on the team standings there. Of course, we saw Sierra Nevada College's Stein Lund with a very impressive 25th best time today. That catapulted Sierra Nevada into first place in the slalom competition. Right now, if this were to be the final results, they'd be tied for the overall title with Rocky Mountain College. Of course, would go to a tiebreaker there, but certainly a very crucial and clutch performance by Stein Lund out of Sierra Nevada College.
Now crossing the stripe from Rocky Mountain College, it's Brittany Anderson with a time of 56.84. Good enough for 36th position. Anna Hosmer from Colby Sawyer College, wearing bib 87, now on course, coming into the middle part in the transition. Here comes Anna Hosmer. She'll be followed by Caitlin Skufka from the College of Idaho. Meanwhile, Hosmer having a good run here. Had to scrape some speed there, but now back into the flow. Into the final 10 gates comes Hosmer. Colby Sawyer College's Anna Hosmer now, coached by Garrett Lasher. Makes her way into the final flush. And here comes Hosmer. Across the stripe, it's Anna Hosmer with a time of 106.45. On course, bib number 88, Caitlin Skufka, now dropped in from the College of Idaho. She'll be followed by Clarkson's Sarah Schaefer. 103 on the entry sheet here for the first run of the ladies slalom finals here.
Well, boss, we just saw Anna Hosmer of Colby Sawyer College. Colby Sawyer, of course, plagued a little bit by some hiking that happened earlier. They're going to be really relying on their later skiers. Later, we're going to see Maggie Flynn coming up to wrap up the Colby Sawyer competitors. And maybe if she can throw down a solid run, we'll see Colby Sawyer launch a little bit up in those team standings.
Now across the stripe from College of Idaho, it's Caitlin Skufka with a time of 102.24. Sarah Schaefer now on course from Clarkson University. Past the halfway stripe into the lower third comes Schaefer. She'll be followed by Syracuse University's Amy Minapace. But right now it is Clarkson, Sarah Schaefer, making her way into the lower third. 10 gates to go for Schaefer. Got a little late there, but now is back on into the final flush. Comes Sarah Schaefer from Clarkson, and across the stripe is Schaefer at a good time of 59.44. That's good enough for 41st position.
Schaefer really boosting through the finish line, pumping through those last final gates and swinging her pole as she gets through the bottom. Really great job of carrying her momentum.
Looks like we're getting into the cheese ball section here of the ladies' first run. Boss Hogg alongside Nikki Holden from the broadcast booth. Glad you're with us at www.uscsa.com. Now coming across the stripe from Syracuse University's Amy Minapace. Now Minapace through the final flush. And across the finish line is Minapace. A good run for Amy Minapace. A clean run from Syracuse. A time of 105.10. Wearing bib 92 from the University of Minnesota Duluth, it's Catherine Roosh. Roosh now on course. Past the halfway mark into the lower third. Katie Todaro from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. She awaits her first run from the start shack. We are happy to have you with us here as we are broadcasting our video stream today for the first time. I'd like to thank our friends at the USCSA for the hard work necessary to make that a reality. And it is looking good here on the screen. We hope you're enjoying our live video and audio coverage. Now across the stripe, it's Catherine Rouge from the University of Minnesota Duluth with a time of 102.09. On course, it's Katie Todaro from UMass Amherst. She'll be followed by British Columbia's Ellen Legro. Let's go over your top 20. In the 20th slot, Rocky Mountain's Alexandra Gurris. Jazz Campbell from Whitman in the 19th position. 18th belongs to Nina Herner from College of Idaho. Syracuse's Nicole Salzman in 17th. 16th slot to Kirsten Evers from NC State. Meanwhile, into the final 8 gates comes Katie Todaro from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. And into the final flush and across the stripe, it's Todaro with a time of 100.72, good enough for 46th. Back to your leaderboard. In 15th, it's Hillary Weber from Boston College. University of Nevada, Reno's Erica Horst in 14th. Hedvig Spangs from Sierra Nevada College in 13th. 12th belongs to Katie Olvstead from St. Olaf. And in the, well, there is no 11th spot because there's 2 tied for 10th. That's Amanda Driver and Kelly Burgert. Driver from the University of British Columbia and Kelly Burgert from Boston College. Meanwhile, back to live action. Ellen Legro wearing bib 94 from British Columbia. In the lower third, but missed a gate. Now she's hiking. She wants a second run. She'll have to do it quick, though, because Megan Thies from Rocky Mountain College is quickly coming upon her. So she'll have to get back into the course, which she has done now. She's going to have to get some speed, though, because Rocky Mountain College's Megan Thies is having a good run. Successfully through the second section, now into the lower third. First, we'll see Legro cross the line from British Columbia. She does so. And right after her comes Rocky Mountain College's Megan Thies. Let's see what the time is for Thies. She's having a good run. Into the final flush and across the stripe is Thies. Thies with a time of 56.67. Good enough for 36th position, but a clean run for Megan Thies from Rocky Mountain College. Katie Cutting from Boston College now dropping in from the start shack. She's wearing bib 96. She'll be followed by Colby Sawyer's Maggie Flynn. Meanwhile, back to your top 10. In the 9th position, Hillary Peterson. In 8th, Mimi Palavara from Rocky Mountain College. 7th belongs to Krista Consiglio from Brown. Colby Sawyer's Danielle Shannon in 6th. Now rounding out your top 5 from Rocky Mountain, it's Issa Floden. In 4th, Emma Beatty from the University of British Columbia. Smith College's Emma Peck-Coffin in 3rd. Maddie Firk from Sierra Nevada in the 2nd slot. And leading still after the first round here in the ladies' slalom event, it is Brown University's Kai Mosenthal. Katie Cutting now from Boston College makes her way into the final 6 gates. Cutting into the final flush. And across the stripe comes Katie Cutting from Boston College with a great run, 52.69. That's good enough for 18th position for Katie Cutting. So well back in the start order. Start order 96 for Cutting, and she throws down an 18th place finish. As we said, Nikki Holden, it's anybody's race here in the second run. As much carnage as we have seen up here in the first run, we can only expect to see somewhat that much carnage in the second run. Anybody in the top 20 or 30 might have a chance at a national championship today.
Absolutely. That great run right there is really going to help out BC. Before that run, BC had a 9th place finish, a 14th place finish, and a 56th place finish. So that 18th place finish, could be enough to make up that 17 seconds that they're behind the lead. But we're going to do some calculations on that, some number crunching, maybe a little bit of stoichiometry, and we'll get right back to you.
Another great run here as Maggie Flynn from Colby Sawyer College has just crossed the stripe. She comes down in 53.73, good enough for 24th position. So obviously some radio traffic now up to the start shack, giving some information to these last racers as they are starting well back in the pack, but coming in the top 30 positions. Katie Cutting from Boston College in 18th. Maggie Flynn from Colby Sawyer in 24th. And now Emma Abramson from Sierra Nevada College, wearing bib number 98, crosses a stripe in 52.33. Good enough for 16th position. So our last three competitors across the finish line, starting well back in the pack, all in the top 30. Alexandra Anderson from St. Olaf College had a good run going, carrying good speed through the top third into the transition, and then blew up a yard sale. That'll be the end of the day for Alexandra Anderson, although she appears to be okay. They're gathering her skis now. She'll put them back on, and she'll ski to the bottom. Tough break for Alexandra Anderson. Next up from Plymouth State University, it's Callie St. Laurent. Callie St. Laurent will come out of the start gate next. She'll be followed by Megan Davis, Kelly Peters, Maria Mastadano, and Rebecca Smith. Also coming up, Ashby Suffman, Jesse Evans, Liza Dingle, and Colleen Duffy.
Plymouth State really relying on a good finish from Callie St. Laurent, as we saw Martina Ryberg ran into some trouble and did not finish today. She hiked, but it won't be good enough to boost her team score. So again, Plymouth State really relying on those later skiers, and Callie St. Laurent is going to need a good run to help out her team here.
Here comes Callie St. Laurent from Plymouth State University. She needs to nail a good run here. The team needs it. You know, Nikki, the great thing about USCSA competition is that it's not only an individual competition. Most folks think ski racing is all about a single person, but the USCSA understands the importance of teamwork and camaraderie, and they have created an incredible team competition. Meanwhile, Callie St. Laurent from Plymouth State University carrying big speed through the bottom section here, but she looked like she hooked a gate there, might have clipped a gate. Now she's going to run after her poles. She's lost her poles here on the side of the run, but both skis are still on her feet. Look at this effort, Nikki Holden. After it had to be 35 gates and an incredible run down this Greyhawk Trail, Callie St. Laurent is not going to quit.
Wow, boss, it's great that we have video at the bottom of this hill, because that was probably the most tremendous fall of the day. She hooked her ski on that blue pole, continued flipping over backwards, and then straddling a gate further down the course, losing her poles in the process. But she will hike, and she will finish this course. That was a pretty impressive fall, and a more impressive determination to get up and finish this course.
Indeed. Hats off to Callie St. Laurent from Plymouth State University. It's all hard for her, and she'll get a second run this afternoon. Now it's Megan Davis from Penn State University. Megan Davis across the stripe in 109.41. We'll see Maria Mastadano from Brown University. She's coming up next from the start shack. Meanwhile, from Northern Michigan University, on course now, it is Kelly Peters. We'll also see Rebecca Smith, Ashby Suffman, Jesse Evans, Liza Dingle, and Colleen Duffy, the entire Cornell Ladies Alpine team. Now into the lower third comes Kelly Peters from Northern Michigan University. Into the final six gates in the flush, it's Kelly Peters from Northern Michigan. And Peters, she'll get a second run. Across the stripe is Kelly Peters in a time of 105.46. Now Brown University's Maria Mastadano, starting in the 107th position, but 53rd after the first intermediate gate. So she's having a good run. Got a little behind there. Can she hold on? Here comes Brown University's Maria Mastadano. And into the final third. Here comes Maria Mastadano. Can she hold on? The legs are burning at this time. Have to stay focused. Have to be strong. The final flush. Oh, and she skis out of the final flush. She missed one. She's going to go back for it. And here across the finish line comes Maria Mastadano from Brown University with a time of 105.46. .48. Nikki, she had a clean run going, and just with 5 gates to go, lost a little bit of focus. You cannot take your eye off the prize on this Greyhawk trail for 1/10 of a second, or it's over for you.
Absolutely, boss. The bottom of this course, you're coming in with a lot of speed, and that hairpin looks scary if you are not entirely focused. And it's unfortunately that she had to ski out of the course there. Now it looks like we've got the entire Cornell team coming down.
Indeed we do. It looks like Rebecca Smith now from Cornell. She's having a clean run. Got a little late here, but it's going to make the final flush. Here comes Rebecca Smith from Cornell University, crossing the stripe in a time of 102.25. Good enough for 57th place, but from way back in the pack, a good run. Of course, this course now completely rutted up as a result of 100-plus skiers already down. But Cornell has their work cut out for them. Now it's Ashby Suffman. Suffman from Cornell University. She's through the transition and out of the center section into the lower third. Here comes Ashby Suffman. Cornell University, well represented in ladies alpine skiing here at the 2011 USCSA National Championship. And here comes Suffman. Suffman win 2 gates to go. And across the stripe, it is Ashby Suffman. And a great run for Suffman, 57.22. Good enough for 41st position for Ashby Suffman. Now on course, bib number 110, Jessie Evans, also from Cornell. Her teammate, bib number 111. In the start shack, it's Liza Dingle. Here comes Jessie Evans. Now Evans past the halfway mark. Had a chance, Nikki, to sit down with the Cornell team. The ladies yesterday had a couple of chats with them, and what a great group of young ladies they are. They are so happy to be here at the National Championships in Sun Valley, and, of course, we are glad to have them as well. Now it's Jessie Evans coming into the finish line. Meanwhile, Liza Dingle now on course from the top. And across the stripe, it's Jessie Evans with a time of 1:00.56. Now it's Liza Dingle all the way from the top. She successfully manages the top third. A tight course for Dingle, skiing out of Carabasset Valley Academy. Check that, out of Carabasset Valley and Milton Academy in Massachusetts. Here is Liza Dingle, a freshman at Cornell. Now Dingle with a good run going. She's not behind. She is skiing well. Here comes Liza Dingle. Into the lower third is Dingle. The legs are nuclear now, but she stays focused. Is she fit enough? Is she focused enough? Liza Dingle with 10 gates to go for Dingle. Here she comes through the flush. Now the hairpin. Dingle still on track. She's having a good run. Liza Dingle into the final flush. 3, 2, 1. Now across the stripe, it's Liza Dingle with a successful first run for Liza Dingle. 1:04.83. Good enough for 63rd position, but she'll have a second shot at it this afternoon.
Well, boss, it looks like after those first 3 racers that Cornell will not crack the top 5 in the team standings. But right now in 5th place, we've got St. Olaf. 4th place, Boston College. 3rd place is Rocky Mountain College. In 2nd, Brown. And sitting in 1st place right now is Sierra Nevada College.
Now on course from Cornell, it is Colleen Duffy. Duffy now through the center section into the lower third. Duffy hanging on here. Just trying to make it through for a second run. Oh, and she hits the gate here with 8 to go. You can see the exhaustion in Colleen Duffy's legs, but no lack of heart here for the Cornell Colleen Duffy, as she is going to hike back up and make the flush. She wants a second run.
An unfortunate turn of events for Colleen Duffy. Boss, you mentioned this Cornell girls team, a great group of girls. Actually, Chris Aliano and I got to meet them at last year's Nationals when we pushed their van out of the mud in the parking lot at Sunday River. They told us that they owed us one, and we're still waiting on that one, boss.
Now here across the finish line, it's Colleen Duffy from Cornell with a time of 1:47.37, but more importantly, a second run awaits Colleen Duffy. And boy, that young lady right there showed some heart. Colleen Duffy is our last racer here in the first run of the 2011 USCSA Women's Slalom National Championship. We'll be back this afternoon at 12:45 broadcast time, 1 o'clock start time. That's local mountain time here in Sun Valley, Idaho. We hope you'll join us for live coverage of the second run here of the ladies slalom. and we will crown a 2011 USCSA Ladies National Champion in the slalom here this afternoon on the Greyhawk Trail in the beautiful Warm Springs area of Sun Valley, Idaho. Let's go over your top 10 now. In the 10th slot, tied, two skiers from British Columbia, Amanda Driver, also Boston College's Kelly Burgard. Hillary Peterson in the 9th slot. Mimi Palavara from Rocky Mountain College in 8th. 7th belongs to Krista Consiglio from Brown University. In the 6th position, Danielle Shannon from Colby Sawyer. Rounding out your top 5, it's Issa Floden from Rocky Mountain College. In 4th spot, Emma Beatty from British Columbia. In the 3rd slot, Emma Peck Coffin from Smith College. It's Sierra Nevada University's Maddie Ferk in 2nd and leading after the first round. Definitely the lady to beat with a split time of 46.72, blistering speed. It's Kai Mosenthal from Brown University. Remember, we'll take the times from the first run. We'll add them to the times of the second run, and that combined time will determine your 2011 national champion. We hope you'll stay tuned here to the USCSA Radio Network as we will begin second round coverage here of the ladies slalom right at 12:45 p.m. local time. We have a scheduled 1 p.m. start time. I'd like to thank our sponsors here of today's broadcast. Patagonia, their mission, build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, and use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. Check them out at Patagonia.com. Today's broadcast also brought to you by Reliable Racing and by Hurricane Racing and by Twitchell Sportswear. That's going to do it for us here from the base of the Greyhawk Trail in the Warm Springs area of Sun Valley, Idaho. On behalf of all of us here at the USCSA and my broadcast partner, Mr. Nicky Holden, this is Boss Hogg saying so long, everybody.